Chapter 13. Chloe's paw. It hurt. My neck, my arm, my head. All of it hurt. Why? The last thing I remembered was. My eyes shot open as I remembered, an exasperated gasp entering my throat. Light shone in from the curtains, showing me that I was in Master's room, sitting peacefully on his couch. I wasn't dead. I wasn't sure if I should be relieved or not. My arms moved to push myself up further, but I quickly stopped myself as I noticed the IV sticking out of my arm. My stomach instantly turned. I hated needles. "Oh, you're awake." I stiffened as I heard Master's words, my head whipping around to find him. I spotted him, lifting himself from his bed. The sight of him walking towards me didn't aid in my uneasiness. "How do you feel?" he asked. His question caught me off guard. Still, I tried my best to respond to him as quickly and truthfully as possible. "My head hurts," I said, avoiding eye contact. He was silent for a moment. "Is that the only thing that hurts?" I shook my head. "My neck and I looked down at the needle piercing my skin, arm does too." My body tensed as I felt his hands brush back my hair, thumb trailing against the aching mark he left on my skin. "That's all normal. It seems to be healing quickly, so it probably won't leave a very noticeable scar." He was speaking so casually, like he didn't almost suck me dry last night. I don't know why I expected anything different. I whimpered a bit as he removed the needle from my arm, his thumb pressing against where it used to be as he set it on the coffee table. What was that for?" I stuttered. "I gave you a blood transfusion." He responded quickly. My eyes widened. "Why?" His eyes met with mine for a moment, making me shrink back a bit. "I didn't want you to die because of something the Lord made me do," he stated. He removed his thumb from my elbow, licking off my blood from it. I focused my gaze back to where the IV used to be, looking where the evident mark was as Master took the blood bag and IV into the bathroom. He saved me? For some reason that concept was so hard to grasp. This whole thing was hard to grasp. I thought back to last night. How I was fearing for my life the moment the Lord ordered Master to drink for me. How Master refused to, stating that he was saving me for the blood moon. I just remembered how fast my heart was beating. It felt like I was trapped, I couldn't even move. Like the fear was holding me there, just allowing reality to happen. And then how much it hurt the moment I felt his fangs press into my skin. The rest was a blur to me. I paused for a moment. The blood moon, maybe that's when I'll die. God, Chloe, if you want to ask questions, just ask them. My eyes widened as I turned to face him. What? He leaned against his desk, arms crossed. "It's written all over your face, plus a pet always has questions after they've first been fed from." I blinked at him, unsure of what to say. I mean, yeah, I had questions, but some of them I'm not even sure I want answered. How did I taste?" I decided to ask. Master's eyes widened before he rose a brow. "I literally almost killed you last night, and your first question is that?" he asked. I shrunk back. I've just always been curious," I stated quickly. "I'd be lying if I said I didn't. B negative was supposedly good, so I just wanted to know." Master sighed, looking down at his desk. "Amazing. I've honestly never tasted anything like it," he said. I wasn't sure how I should feel about that. I decided to quickly shift the conversation, lest I start to panic. "So, was that really a class 3 hemorrhage?" I asked. I had learned about those in the short time I was in school. They told us that the chance of survival was low unless immediate action was taken. He breathed out a short laugh as he rolled his eyes a bit. "No. To be honest, I don't even think that Lord Bronwyn knows what a class 3 hemorrhage is. He pretty much just wanted you to pass out." I tilted my head a bit. "Then how much did you end up taking?" Chapter 14. I stayed quiet and still as Xander strut right into Master's room, practically dragging Doe behind him. My eyes widened when I saw her. She looked physically drained, like she was going to pass out any second now. Xander looked around the room as Master shut the door, taking in a deep breath. "Did you do something with the place? It looks different," Xander said. Master rolled his eyes. "That's not why you're here." Xander's eyes furrowed for a moment. Oh yay. Where do you want this? He asked, lifting the edge of Doe's leash. Master groaned as he walked into the bathroom. Just take off her leash and have her sit on that couch, he said, pointing to the one that I woke up on. Xander nodded as he made his way over to the couch. Apparently, Doe was too out of it because she ended up being choked by the leash before she started stumbling over to Xander. Now I really felt bad for her. Doe weakly climbed onto the couch before Xander took forever to unclip her leash. Master walked back into the room, now with the sleeves of his shirt rolled up to his elbows. His eyes met with mine for a second before he turned to Xander. He started to speak, but Xander beat him to it. You let your pet on the bed? Xander asked, now facing me as he sat himself on one of the other couches. I shifted my head down, looking at the now very interesting blanket. Not usually, Master said, walking over to the couch, but I didn't need her catching whatever Doe has, so I decided to make an exception. Xander's eyes furrowed as he looked at me. She's gonna start disobeying if you keep letting her up there, he said. I curiously tilted my head up towards Master. Believe me, she knows better, Master replied. Now what's wrong with yours? I looked towards Doe as soon as Xander did, trying not to make eye contact with him. I don't know. She told me that she was feeling really hot last night, but I thought that she was just trying to make up some lame excuse so I wouldn't drink from her. Her blood tasted a little different than usual, so I guess she wasn't totally making it up. And this morning I had to force her to wake up, which was weird because she's always up before me, and then her breathing started getting all weird and her body wouldn't stop shaking. Master just stared at him for a second before letting out a long sigh. Doe didn't even flinch when Master reached his hand towards the back of her neck. Maybe she just didn't care at this point. Master's eyes widened. How did you not feel this fever? He asked. Xander pursed his lips out a bit. What fever? Master just stared at him, annoyance evident in his face. She's literally burning, Xander. I'm surprised that she was able to make it over here without collapsing. Master went through what seemed like a routine, opening her mouth, checking various parts of her body, checking her pulse. My room is like right down the hall, it's not even that far, Xander retorted. Master glared at him. That's not the point. Xander groaned in annoyance as he slouched himself against the couch. So what should I do, all-powerful wise one? I almost snickered at the confused look on Master's face. Just take her back to your room. Give her a blanket and some water and just let her sleep for a while. She'll get better naturally over the next few days. Oh, and keep her in your room until she's better, she's most likely contagious. Master glanced over at me as he finished. Xander just groaned. So you're saying that I can't get her branded tomorrow? He whined. Not unless you want to get every other pet there sick. Xander huffed out a big sigh. But I got Layla to agree to go with me. That sucks. Maybe you should have taken better care of your pet. Xander looked towards Doe for a moment. Fine, I'll just do it the next time the branders come, he said. Good choice, Master responded. I was kind of surprised that Xander planned on having her that long. He kinda seemed like he went through a pet every month despite how old Doe's scars looked. Chapter 15. I looked out the window of the limo as we drove into the city, recalling all of the familiar places I would go as a child. Seeing all of this again brought up some strange mixes of emotions, reminding me of what I once had. Master had been quiet most of the ride, just occasionally looking up to see how far away we were. Even I knew that we were close to the doctor's office. I went there a lot as a child, but only because I used to be really clumsy. A sigh left my lips as I thought back to the long sunny days I would spend with my older sister, playing in the park until the sunset. Then we would come home to Mom's cooking and then listen to one of Dad's many stories. I quickly turned my head away from the window the moment I felt a lump begin to form in my throat. Master noticed this, his head turning to me. I couldn't let myself cry, not after what the pet master did to me the last time I did. No matter how much I wanted to, I refused to let myself. I let out a long breath as I leaned my head back against the seat, trying to focus on the humming of the car instead of my own memories. You okay? I stiffened at the sound of his voice breaking the silence. Yay, I replied quickly, clasping my hands near my lap. He looked at me for a little while longer before turning his head to the window. He sat up a bit straighter as he did. I see it, he said, talking about the hospital not far ahead. My stomach turned a bit as he spoke. Why it only kicked in just now was beyond me, but I was nervous. Nervous to go back into my hometown and risk someone recognizing me, or me not being able to keep myself together. I was even too nervous to ask Master if I could stay in his room while he came here. I was planning on doing it last night before we went to bed, but chickened out last minute. I clasped my hands tighter as the limo came to a stop. Master grabbed my leash in one hand and opened the door with the other. The both of us stepped into the afternoon sun. Luckily I didn't spot anyone in the general area. I followed Master as he walked up to the front window and tapped on the glass. The slave rolled the window down, allowing Master to lean into it and tell the boy something that I didn't quite catch. I was surprised to see that the limo began moving after Master leaned out of the window. I guess he gave the slave an errand to run. With that, we walked towards the entrance. The familiar ding of the sensor filled the room as we entered into the small waiting room. I quickly looked around seeing if I recognized anyone. Lucky, there were only a couple people, none of which I recognized. All of them froze at the sight of a vampire making his way to the front desk, one of them hurrying out of the way as we did so. Master didn't seem to pay them any mind. Some of them sent me remorseful looks, while some of the others avoided their gazes altogether. Despite their safety against vampires, they were still terrified. They still knew that Master could easily kill them if they disrespected him, and he most likely wouldn't get punished. Master leaned against the front desk, where the man working there had his back towards us as he organized prescriptions. After a while of the man not noticing us, Master subtly cleared his throat. The man quickly turned his head, his trademark smile covering his face as he spoke. Good afternoon. How may I help? Why? He stopped mid-sentence when he saw who was there. I chewed on the inside of my lip as a name finally came to the man's familiar face. He was the one that would always take care of me whenever I came in here. The always cheerful Dr. Marshall. Oh, Nicholas, he laughed nervously, I didn't think I'd be seeing you here again. His stance was tense as he stood a safe distance away from the front desk. Yay, you and me both, Master replied emotionlessly. So, what brings you by? He asked, trying to hide his discomfort behind his smile. Master glanced down at me. I need her medical records. She used to live here.